Welcome to another edition of Kings Spotlight, and joining us again today is Kings College head football coach Jeff Knarr. Coach, thanks for being with us again this week.
Thanks for having me.
Coach, it's week 7 of the Kings football season, and the Monarchs will be traveling to Reading on Saturday to face Albright College at 1 p.m. But before we get on to that game, let's take a look back at last week when your Monarchs posted a big 45-17 road win over FDU Florham. Take us through the start of that game, Coach, where your team got off to a slow start but then regrouped and won going away.
Yeah, and in the beginning, we came up short on the 2 possessions. We moved a little bit, but not enough to get a first down, and had 2 3-and-outs. And then they came out pretty good, but then our defense gave a couple big plays, but then hunkered down and got a turnover to get the ball back for us. From there, and eventually then offensively we got on track. We hit a big pass. From there we got it down and we get a touchdown, and then prior to that it was 7-0. They had all the momentum, and the thing we were impressed about, our kids didn't panic. 2 years ago when they came out all fired up and got an early lead, we kind of panicked and hit the panic button and didn't play well and continued to make mistakes, and things spiraled out of control. We felt we can do things in the kick game and then have good returns, and then our kids did a good job blocking it up, and Dan hit the hole, and we run a 90-yard kick return, and we tied the game right up before they can get too excited, build on any momentum they had in that 7-0 lead. And then our offense got on track to go up by a score, and then the FDU spread, they answered and they were moving the ball down, but then our defense came up with a big play, got a turnover. Anthony Martucci gets a pick and then returns it for school record 91 yards for a touchdown. They give us that two-score cushion, and then then we kind of settled down and played what we wanted to play, which was collaborative football, all 3 phases having an impact in us winning that football game.
The defense has been coming up in recent weeks with a lot of big plays, and as you mentioned, Anthony Martucci had that 91-yard touchdown interception, but he also had one on the first possession of the game when FDU was driving, and he picked that off at our 10-yard line. So talk about the impact that Martucci had in that game.
Huge, and what we've seen him is that the last 2 games he's played at a really, really high level, which you expect as a junior, second year as a starter, an all-conference type level play he's been bringing to the table, which is huge, for us, especially FDU, who's throwing the ball more than anybody in the conference. But we also need him. He's done a great job of getting in the box and stopping the run and taking care of their short passes, which are like runs for them. So when you have one of your better players playing at a high level, it just helps again elevate the play or everybody else around them. And he's been able to do that, and he's been in the right spot at the right time, and he's been making big plays. The last couple weeks, and the 2 on Saturday were huge.
And speaking of interceptions, on Saturday, Justin Foster also had another one. A freshman quarterback leads the conference with 4 interceptions. Talk about what he's meant to the team this year.
I mean, he's been huge. We've got to come in and bring his skill set, which we liked, which was a really good technique cover, corner, kind of guy. And then he's uses his technique well. He's in great position, and he's got really good ball skills, and it really helps us when you're playing the spread teams and you need more guys to cover the more receivers on there. He was able to give us depth, and he's getting confidence with each time he's playing. He had a pick. He knocked the ball out, defended a pass, and broke it up in the end zone. So he's been really solid in his pass coverage, and it's been helping our defense get better every week.
Another guy on defense who is really having a good year, but he seems to be doing it in a very quiet fashion, is sophomore inside linebacker Bobby Russell, who ranks 2nd in the conference with an average of 10 tackles per game. Talk about him this year.
And he's been real good. I mean, he was a good kid that as a freshman was playing and doing good things, and as a high ceiling. And this year he's just kind of getting better as he gets more comfortable, sees more and more reps, and sees the schemes coming at him. He's getting better with his reads and his keys. And you see that each week he's having less mistakes where he misreads a play, and now he's totally reading a play, and then he hits you. He's a very physical football player, and he's also very good in the pass game. I mean, he was able to stop their best play, knock it down early in the game. Plus he's getting better with his pressures and making tackles in the loss in the backfield. So each week he's getting better. It's been kind of quietly, but he's been a solid force in the middle, which is what we need with our defense.
The offensive line has seemed to be making some strides in recent weeks, and this past week against FDU, it really seemed that as the game went on, our offensive line wore down the FDU defense.
Yeah, we did. Felt that way, and then we also would agree we did play better as offensive line, and we saw it in practice. And then it transferred to the game, which is the goal. and that we looked like we were, the plays looked like they're supposed to look like. Our technique, our body position was what it needs to be. So we have some young guys, as they get more experience, are starting to understand the scheme better. And then they were then if they understand it better, they can play faster and they can be more physical. And that's what we saw Saturday, as our run game showed flashes of what it needs to be, and it was successful. And then we were able to have a huge drive in the fourth quarter, to eat up a lot of clock and lead to scores. I think we had the ball for like 32 minutes and 31 seconds of the second half. So a lot of that was our offense being able to stay on schedule. It starts with the 5 guys up front, enable us to run the football, and they did a really good job on Saturday.
Well, this week it's Albright College as your team travels to Reading. Albright has been a team that we have had trouble with in recent years. In fact, King's last win over Albright was back in 2006. And beyond that, our last win at Albright was in 2002. So talk about the Albright program and the success they've had in recent years.
Yeah, I mean, they always have, a lot of talent, a lot of guys, a lot of size, and athleticism. I mean, last year they had 32 seniors. 9 of them were fifth-year guys. So they always have a good, good experience, and that trickles down to the next guys as they're able to learn from a lot of older guys of how to run a program, how to be a part of a program, how to be successful. So they've been a very good and solid program near the top of the MAC. So we have to come there and be able to match their physicalness from that deal. Not give it the big play. And be able to take advantage of opportunities and make big plays. We've missed some opportunities in the past against them, and we've given them too many easy things or big plays, and you can't do that against a well-coached, physical, good, solid football team.
Well, as you mentioned, they have graduated a lot of players from last year. So offensively, they're not quite as prolific as they have been in the past, but they still do have weapons. You've had a chance to study the game film, so what do you see from the Lions offensively this year?
What we see is we're getting better. You're right. They graduate a lot of guys are getting their first, extended playing time, their first experience playing. And then you saw like little mistakes here and there, but I mean, they're the last few games they're getting better at moving the ball, spreading around the people. They have some tall receivers that can go up and attack the football. There's still some speed on the edges. And their backs run hard, and also get involved in the pass game and can run in between the tackles and get to the outside as well. And they were playing 2 quarterbacks, and they seem to have settled on one. And so that means he's getting confident week in and week out. So what we're seeing is a young offense that's getting better every week and kind of getting back to the way Albright operates.
Defensively, Albright is 6th in the MAC against the run and allowing just 109 yards per game. And the number that jumps out is that they have registered 54 tackles for loss, along with 17 sacks in just 6 games. But they're also 9th against the pass at 241.7 yards per game. So it seems like they may be a little bit more vulnerable against the pass than they are against the run.
Look at film, and they give up some big plays, that people got behind them, and they played some teams. FU's throwing the ball a lot. Widener is very prolific with their passing attack. Del Val. So some of the teams they played has been maybe pass first thing. So they've given them some big plays from there. But again, they're physical. They're attacking style. They're good tacklers. So their defense. So you can see them that they do a good job of trying to put pressure on the quarterback and getting the sacks. And then they can because they're physical and strong guys in their front 7. Penetrate the line of scrimmage and put themselves in the backfield to have opportunities for tackles for a loss. So, we have to, do a good job again with our blocks and be physical as an offensive line and improve what we did this week as we face a front 7 that that is geared to stopping the run.
What will your King squad need to do on both sides of the ball in order to be successful?
Defensively, we need to continue, to continue to get better. We're playing a very, high level. At times, and sometimes, we're our own worst enemy. With making some mistakes, where we, abandon our technique a little bit, and we get ourselves in some trouble, where we either give up a penalty or we allow, some confusion to come in with a call, and we give up a big play. But when we do everything right and we're all on the same page, we're seeing we're getting better and better, and that's what we need to do on Saturday as a team that has some balance. That they can throw the ball well, but they also want to run it. So again, it's about our guys doing their 1/11th, their job, and making sure that we're all on the same page and not getting caught up in trying to do something else and then give up a big play, which has hurt us with them in the past. And then offensively, we have to be able to establish the run. In the past with these guys, we've had flashes and spurts where we can run the ball against them, but we have to be able to do that consistently, because then that again will open up our pass game, which helped us on Saturday, and be able to stay on schedule. You can't be in long yardage situations with these guys. You know, as you said, they had 17 sacks, 50-some tackles for a loss, because then, you know, you're becoming one-dimensional, and they can pin their ears back and come after you.
Well, Coach, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for your time, and good luck to you and the Monarchs on Saturday when you travel to Reading to face Albright College at 1 p.m.
Thank you very much.